Hey, hi everyone, this is Utkarsh. So today we will be talking about a small pet project that I have built as a Google Chrome extension for my day-to-day use case. So the name of this project is basically Notion Brain. So what this project is and what the use case is. So what issue that I used to face in my day-to-day life was whenever I was reading some paper or some article on Medium or some documentation related to my project, maybe it on Redux documentation or Expo documentation. Is there an if there is any to do that I will miss out on, or I need to go on Notion page? So I have this Notion two sections. One is the quick notes section where I add my notes, and the other is the to do section where I add my to-dos to do it to look into later on and do the tasks accordingly. So what issue I was facing regularly on the regular basis, on daily basis was that I used to forget those to-dos or maybe the notes I am not able to take because of switching between my browser and the Notion application, desktop application. So what I built was this Notion Brain Chrome extension. What it helps me to do is it will always be there on my browser, so whenever I need to add some to-dos in my to-do list or add some notes, I can directly add from this Chrome extension. So talking about the UI of my Notion Brain application. So this is the UI. So few of the UI perspective, what I built was that it's a draggable application anywhere on the screen. The other is the opacity. So sometimes you want the opacity to not be as high as because you are already aware of all the sections in this particular extension. So I built this opacity part also. And there is some additional options that we will be talking about later on. Two of the sections that we directly connect to our Notion is the quick notes and to-dos, which I'm showing here in my drop-down. The other is the notes that we can add a note and then save a button. The limit of the note is 1000 words, 1000 characters, and the button save to Notion will save that particular thing to Notion directly. So suppose this is one of the you can say paper that I need to read later on because I'm currently reading the section one or the episode one of the course that I'm currently taking in. So what I will do is I will go to the drop down. I will select a to do. I will add read this attention to details paper. Okay, what I will do is I will add this to my to-dos. Now if I go to my to-do section, you can see that this particular notes is added with a source. So if you see on the source, this is the same link. I can just copy, and later on whenever I am required to read this particular paper, whenever I am free, I can just go and read this. After the completion, I can mark it as done here. So this is for to do. The other section that I build is the notes section, which is one of the important section. So suppose I am reading this Redux fundamentals, or I am going through some concepts or documentations where I find something very useful which I can integrate in my current mobile application, which I am working in my organization. So there is one of the section is which is use selector, use draft selector, which I found very useful here. So what I will do is I will go to the notes. I will go to the additional section. So now talking about the additional section, we will go through every part individually, but adding a note, suppose I'm working, I want this to be a mobile application. So one click and this snippet will be added. Later on, we will see this is getting highlighted in our Notion page also. Polish, and then what we can do is we can do use selector hook to be integrated in our application to make it uh, optimal for the users. So once I click on save to Notion, what it will do is it will be saved. If you can see here, the save to Notion message is there. So I will go to my section. I will see there are few of the parts that is added. One is the snippet part, which is basically which purpose I have added this notes for. The other is the notes that I have added, and the other is the source, which is the link, the same link which I'm currently reading from, and the other is the tag. What is the tag that is? So there are different tags that it is automatically tagging. Okay, so that also we will talk how we have implemented the technical part of the C. So now this was all about the two of the drop down. We will be increasing it on my day-to-day task as I will be jobbing down or segregating different sections for the same. The other is the quick action. Suppose there is a bug or idea or read letter that I need to tag with a particular node. So I don't need to write it here, ki this is a bug and then add it. What I will do is I will directly tag it as bug, and then uh, we can add it to our notes. So once if I tag it, it will be added to the notes part as a bug. So we can directly go here in the Notion part and search for our bug, and that will identify it. So this was one of my use case. There are the other use cases such as GitHub. So what main purpose of GitHub was to, not the GitHub, but the template part was to provide a basic template. See, if we are if we are reading certain documentation, so we can directly put this templates, ki these things are required. Okay, what is the conclusion? What I have learned? What are the important details? And what is the next step? What are the next pointers that I need to cover while reading that particular documentation? GitHub will be, if suppose I am going through some open source code and I have found certain issue, so we can just add this context, and once we are good with the issue, and we can just uh, complete that particular part. The other thing is pinned snippet. So snippet can be anything. Okay, so if you can see, we used a snippet called mobile application. So if any task is related to mobile application, I will be using this particular snippet to add it as a mobile application. So it adds a snippet and then it's highlight in our Notion page. We can also add our custom snippets. Okay, so suppose similarly we have added this open source and reading to mark those snippets as. So if you can see here, there's a snippet called reading. So I wanted to basically read more about encoder and decoder. So what I did was I added a reading snippet with this and a link of Geek for Geeks to just read it later on. So there is one more important part. If suppose I am going through some task, okay, some image that is very important, which I need to go through later on. Suppose encoder and decoder architecture. So if you can see here, so what I did was I took a screenshot. So I selected this particular screenshot section. So what it will do, it will take a screenshot, it will add in my notes. So this is my notes. So what it consists of is the link where I was reading from, the notes that I have added, and the other is the screenshot and the tag from where it has picked up this particular thing from. The other is two of the polishing or enriching my application was this polish and enrich wala part. So what this basically does is ki as a human we usually make mistake while writing it out. So polish will basically guide you to improve your grammatical mistakes, and enrich will basically add some context to it. So if you can see, if I clicked on the enrich button, what it does is it adds a context about it and the domain from where we are doing it. So it adds those parts automatically rather than you typing it out every time we are adding a particular notes. So this was the basic idea. Okay, this was the additional option that I have built in this particular application. The more I progress on this, the more idea I get it, I will be building on. So This was a basic demo. Now talking about the implementation part, I have used Codex. Okay, technical implementation part. I have used Codex. I created this particular agent. So this particular agent basically will help have all the context about my this application, and the other thing I used was cursor a bit because my codex limit was getting expired. So I used a cursor a bit just to refine my README and those files. So by doing this, I had a idea to how you to use at least these two particular application. Technically speaking, how I have implemented polish and rishes, we have used some external APIs, free APIs. So first API that I used was Notion API, which is basically connecting my Chrome extension to Notion API call. So all the communication is happening using this. So we created a token and we have used that similarly in our application, basically in this config.js file. The other is our language tool. So the tool that I mentioned that was polishing our notes, basically improving the grammatical and spelling mistakes. So for that we have used this language tool. This was free tool provided. And the other is the enriching part. So summarizing the web page that we are currently on, uh, getting the context about in a short, and the domain is the easy part. So that we have used using microlink, and the other is the last one is the file upload part. So the capturing the screenshot and then uploading it on Notion. So that we have done using 0xo.st. So this was a technical implementation. As far as building more, definitely segregation of the ideas mainly to different section on my Notion will be one of the use case that I will be doing. The other thing I will be maybe doing in future is to summarize this particular document or the article that I'm reading, so that I don't need to go through all the article, just the crux of it. So that is the plan as of now, and hopefully in future we will be building this. Thank you.